Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of Beyond the Arc. I'm Talia Goodman here with Genesis Bryant, as always. And of course, we have a guest that we'll tease to you in a little bit. You don't get to know who it is quite yet, but we had a loaded weekend of hoops. We actually spoke to you pretty recently, like 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. But we're back because there's just so much to go over. The season never sleeps, especially in November. Plenty of high-profile games to talk about. Genesis, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm tired. You're in that long stretch. Thanksgiving break is about to be here, but I'm excited. I mean, we're seeing upsets almost every day now. I mean, the women's basketball. I mean, you just can't stop talking about it. It's just so much parity, and I'm just excited for this year.
You doing anything fun for Thanksgiving?
I'm gonna eat good. I mean, the whole the whole feast. I'm gonna go out of town, eat good, and then hopefully do some shopping on Black Friday, get some good deals.
That sounds very fun. Fun fact about me is I've never really had a real Thanksgiving dinner because my dad has always covered men's college basketball. So we've always gone on a trip for some good men's games. Now that I cover women's, we have to find a place where we can both go to an event, which doesn't leave a ton of options. Which tournament do you think I'm gonna go to? Which place am I going to?
Now I know historically the tournament Bahamas usually do the men and the women.
I've been
So
there.
maybe get some sun, some nice weather. Vegas.
Vegas,
Is it
you
Vegas?
got it. Second time
Oh,
charm. We're going to Vegas. I am a fan of some blackjack, so I will be at the tables for a little. I'll also
okay.
be catching some great women's basketball. We got South
Mhm.
Carolina, Texas, UCLA, Duke for the women, and
Yeah.
then there's a million and one teams for the men. So I'll be watching some of that too. But I'm pumped up. It's like the $1 million tournament. This is a big deal. It's the first year they're having the women involved. So it should be really fun.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who do you think is winning that championship in Vegas?
I think it's UCLA. And I think it goes back to what we talked about last week with the depth. I just think they are the deepest team and that has an advantage. Like it does. It has an advantage in this day and age. And we'll talk about them a little bit, but I think we not to pat us on the back too much, but we were right last week when we said like this team is a contender and they proved that with not only, the win over Oklahoma, but a couple other big wins they had this week against North Carolina, USF, who's a really talented mid-major. They just were dominant, and I think they have all the pieces. And I think this would be a really good start to building up that resume. And I said on Twitter, I think I might have messed up. I should have put them as my number one team this week. I was 1A and 1B with UConn, and I think
Mhm.
UConn deserves it too, which is why I was 1A and 1B. I didn't know it's tough this early in the season.
Yeah.
Not everyone has played the same caliber of team, so it's hard to
Mhm.
know what to prioritize. I think they're both incredibly talented and the two deepest teams in the country, though, by far.
I think you hit a head song. I'm in total agreement.
Yeah. Well, it's been a fun week, but
Mhm.
if you watch the podcast, you know what we start off with every week, which is our mid-major spotlight. And I'm very excited about this week's because it was a fun one. It was a really fun game to be watching live, and this is a team that's still undefeated. And that is South Dakota. Let's give
Yeah.
some props to South Dakota because they went on the road to Manhattan, Kansas, where Kansas State historically does not lose very
Mhm.
often. I can count it on, two hands how many times they've lost in the last 5 years or so. Uh,
Mhm.
and they took down Kansas State. What an impressive win.
I mean, I think what I was most impressed was their defensive intensity. I mean, not only to only have 12 turnovers, which that's a pretty good number for most teams that want to have 13 and under, but to force 19 turnovers and score 21 points off of them. I think that was the difference maker. I know it was a one point game, could come down to possessions at the end, but their defensive intensity and consistency throughout that game is what I'm most impressed with.
I think my, favorite storyline of the game or whatever you want to call it is that Patience Williams hit that game-winning three, and she was not hot offensively. Like she wasn't really making shots, but they trusted her in that moment, and she trusted herself to take that shot, and it was the game winner. Like not necessarily the most impactful player throughout, the 40 minutes, but in those last few, I mean, she got it done, and I think that's such a cool thing to still have confidence in yourself and to have your coaches still have confidence in you in that moment.
Man, I mean, first of all, it's hard to be trusted with the game winning shot. But then to make it, that also comes one in a million. So definitely congrats to her. I know that feels great to be able to have that's big win like that and to be publicized like that. So hats off to her for sure.
Yeah, and they got some fun new players on that team, couple freshmen, couple transfers. I think they're going to really do some damage this year, so I'm excited to see what they do. Before we move on, let's actually talk about Kansas State a little bit briefly, just because I think they're an interesting one. Obviously, the last, few years, they've been a real threat nationally. I saw them in the tournament a few times. And it's a brand new team, right? You lose a lot to graduation, a little bit to the portal. Um, Now they have back-to-back losses. South Dakota is one of them. Texas A&M also at home. Where do you think of where Kansas State is at right now?
I think it's kind of what we talked about our first episode. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Little pin, but how when you have transfers in a new team, you really never know until you start playing. I think this is one of the kind of fork in the road that Kansas City is hitting. Not Kansas City, Kansas State is hitting right now, and I'm just interested to see that bounce back. I know you have some older people. I would like to see like the older leadership and your kind of mature players to kind of come in and bring those new ones and young ones along. And I mean, it could either be where you just go sink down. I mean, but it's November. Everyone's losing, everyone's learning. Like, I think they'll be okay. I think just really learning from this and just allowing it to have that momentum going the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's hard to overreact. I mean, it's easy to
Mhm.
overreact with these two losses, but I don't want to, and I don't think it's
Yeah.
the right thing to do to overreact to these two losses. They had a couple injuries in that second one against Texas A&M. Played hard, maybe not as good defensively as you'd expect. But my big takeaway, and I went back and I watched the full game last night, 2 nights ago. These freshmen are going to be really good. It's just going to take them time. Like they have a really, really talented freshman class, and Gina Garcia was someone who wasn't even necessarily on my radar before the season started, and she's someone who I'm watching a whole lot of now. Not
Mhm.
only her, they have two other freshmen, Jordan Spicer, Brandy Herod. Like they're both really, they're all three of them are very, very talented and play hard. Like you watch their specific film and they're all like diving for loose balls. They're all, have the right ideas. They're not always making the right play, but that's to be expected for a freshman. And so I
Yeah.
think it's just that it's tough not having that like true veteran leadership like you had last year to help. But Jeff Mitty's going to get it done. Like they're not the best team in the Big 12. They're not going to be, but they're not like this is not something to overreact fully about. There's still the season is not over. It's still so early. Plenty of basketball left to be played. Uh,
Mhm.
so that's kind of all I have on Kansas State and their week. But let's move to another Big 12 team, why don't we? And talk about TCU really quick. They had a really big win this weekend
Mhm.
at NC State. Last year, it was the win against NC State that kind of propelled them into that national spotlight. They do it again with a brand new team, brand new roster. They do it again at NC State in Raleigh. Really, really impressive win, right? What did you think of that game?
Well, first off, I played in state my first years of college, and Reynolds Stadium, that thing can get loud. I mean, it holds just a little over 5,000, so not the biggest, but they sell it out almost every home game. So to go into Reynolds and beat NC State, like that is a big thing. That's a big deal. I think TCU just overpowered them. I think, of course, we know about them being the tallest team in the league right now. I think they use their height to their advantage, their size to their advantage, and they gave the guards different looks, having like longer players on them and be able doing different things out the ball screen coverage. But I just think I love the way they're consistent throughout. I mean, it's not a extremely high scoring game. I mean, 69 to 59, not extremely high, but you could tell that they value possessions. And I think that's what's most important in that win.
No, 1,000%. And I think I'm going to go against myself a little bit in this point, but usually, the teams who I think are going to do really well have some depth. I don't think TCU has a ton of depth. They have some, don't get me wrong, but it's really, those starters and maybe a sixth or seventh guy who's coming out and making those plays and really impacting the game. They have some young players who I think will improve as the season goes on and will get
Mhm.
more minutes, but right now they're not the deepest team in the country.
Yeah.
And yet I think they're one of the most talented, which is what I think gives them a shot here. Kind of similarly to South Carolina in that way,
Mhm.
where there's not the most depth. Your players are getting a lot of minutes, but
Mhm.
their talent, like what they can do. Every time you have, Olivia Miles on the floor, she's a playmaker and can get you the ball. You have the size. Like they're just a very versatile team. They can get you down low. They can stretch you. Like they just can do a little bit of everything.
I mean, to your point, to the minutes is 40, 32, 38, 39, 32. So it's like you said, not much depth could that possibly hurt them later on down the line? Like, hopefully the injury bug doesn't come or foul trouble or things of that
Yeah, I
nature.
remember 2 years ago what happened with the injury bug with them. So
Yeah, so, not trying to, but you just never know. So I think hopefully in the rest of their non-conference, they kind of get those other guys kind of playing and producing more so it can help them in the long run.
yeah, absolutely. And now we've broken it down, and there's no better person to break it down with than our guest who we're going to welcome in now, and that is TCU's Marta Suarez, who had an absolutely phenomenal performance in that game against NC State. She went off. I think TCU is a really, really good fit for her. And so let's hear from her about that game, about her career, about being at TCU. We'll send it over to her. All right, now we will welcome in our guest for today, TCU's Marta Suarez. Glad to have you on. You had a monster game against NC State. It's been quite a week for you. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Just woke up from a nap, feeling great.
I'm jealous. I need one of those today too. It's that kind of day. Obviously, this has been a really, really good start to the season for you, right? What was it about TCU and about your conversation, your first one with Mark Campbell, that made you want to be a Horned Frog?
That's a good question. I headed into the portal with one goal in mind, which was, well, I had two. First of all, was I wanted to go deep into March. I had a great career at Cal where our goal was to get to March, so I had a little taste of that and I wanted to go deep into it. And of course, Mark had shown that he knows how to win. And then my second one was who's gonna get me ready to be the best version of myself I can be going into my pro career. So that's how I headed into the portal. And then after my couple years of college experience, I knew that my decision was going to be based once I talked. There's a lot of teams capable of doing that. Once I talked to the coaches and the people there, it was going to be more of like a intuition, more of like a gut feeling, a relationship feeling, and it was straight out of the first second call. I was like the charisma they have, the honesty that they have, the way they carry themselves, and then the way they were so intentional about the recruitment process too. Like it wasn't, they weren't just like, oh, you're a good kid, you put up these numbers, I want you. They were also like, I was like, hey, I'm ready. And they were like, well, we gotta check who you are in the locker room and who you are as a person first. I was like, well, if you were doing that with me, I know you're doing that with everybody. I know how that you're recruiting. That was a huge green flag for me.
Well, that's great. I love to hear that. Also, just going into it, how is it like playing for Mark, like as a person? Like, how is he like off the court?
It's a 10 out of 10, man. I'm never gonna get tired of saying I love that man. He's so caring, he's so honest, you can tell he's so intentional. He really wants to pour into us and to get the best out of ourselves, and then he just happens to be great at basketball. But I think his greatest skill is just relationship building and encouraging people to be the best version of themselves. He does a great job getting to know you, who you are as a person, and then from then understanding how to push you, how to stop you, how to love you, how to care for you. And I think that translates.
Yeah, we heard it last year from players like Haley Van Lith or Sedona Prince who were maybe in kind of similar situations. And this is what he's able to do, right? Is he puts teams together full of players who maybe have a chip on their shoulder or something they want to prove left in college and really develops them, not even just as a player, but as people too. What was it about this group? Because I know when you'd committed, Olivia Miles had already committed at that point. There were some players that maybe he had talked to you about that were going to be joining you on this team. What was it about that and what they were able to do last season that convinced you?
I mean, you tell me you get Olivia Miles in the team, and you know what I mean. A player like that, a point guard like that plays the game right. That she's so fun to watch. Any basketball fan, any sports fan, just can tell that she's a talented girl. And then the way that she's talented also is getting other people involved. And then you combine that with players like Donna that I get a chance to play against. I'm like, I know she a soldier. She's a point guard. She gonna get our stuff together. And Maddie Shear coming back, and then we have a bunch of internationals too, like Clara Silva, 6'7" post who has like one of the best fadeaways in the game I've seen so far. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know you were gonna be this talented. I actually committed to the coach. I didn't know much about the team, but I definitely knew about Olivia. So that was a great push. So everything's just been kind of blessings after that.
That's amazing. And also for you personally, every year your scoring has increased. So what does your off-season preparation look like?
I had a great off season this year. Unfortunately, my college career has had a lot of kind of bumps in the road. So I always felt like I was kind of trying to play catch up when the season came, whether it was personal situationships, I had some injuries, I was just had to go back to play with the national team. But this year I was able to be here and really pour into I love to be in the gym. I like to kind of figure out the game and my skills and my strengths and my weaknesses. So I was able to be here and be committed. And when it's your last year, virtually that's when everybody's like, oh, it's my last year. You got to turn it up. And then the fact that I was able to see so many talented players around me and coaches with such capabilities and such expectations that only kind of pushed me and motivated me a little bit extra.
Obviously, you're a very talented basketball player, but I heard that even outside of basketball, you're very gifted at something else, which is art. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get into it? I heard that maybe a dream career outside of basketball for you is either artist or photographer for National Geographic. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I've been doing art forever, like ever since I was a kid. I would like decorate the house for Halloween or Christmas. I would be the one to do that, or like, the kid in school that was like, "Oh, can you draw this for me?" Um, but it was kind of coming here, being in college basketball, such a demanding period in my life, and you spend so many hours pouring into basketball, and then you get home and you get a few hours, but you're very tired, like you're in trying to do something else. So trying to kind of pour into things that I love and things that I can have like a creative outlet. Painting just kind of came just like a blessing again to me. And so that's something that I do. That's something that I love to share. That's something that I love to do every day in my life. And then I got to give a shout out to my girl, Jada Noble, Jade Casso, who is, besides being a bucket, she was my teammate in college. She's a tremendous artist too. And so we shared a lot of time there where we would spend a lot of time painting together. And she was a great encourager I was doing the art, but about sharing it and letting people know, like, hey, this is something that I do too. This is something that this is a part of me. And she was a great inspiration for me.
I heard that it's also maybe your pregame ritual before game. So I need to know what you were drawing or painting before that NC State game because I think you need to replicate that every game.
Go kill them. No, I'm just playing. Um, Actually, before games, I like to draw a lot, and it's more of like kind of like people like to journal. I just make it a little bit more, a little couple extra lines, but a lot of fun, connection, flow, and playfulness. I think that's gonna help the team. My goal was to we have such a talented team, you just got to take care of yourself, of your mind, and let the game flow, let the game come. And I had a good game because that just happened to be my night, but we have buckets all over the place. So every night's gonna be a different night. Just gotta be ready.
I also heard you grew up on a farm. What was it like growing up on a farm?
We're
How
digging
is
up
it
all the
different?
things on
Yeah,
you.
your guys got everything. Yes, I grew up on a farm, like a farm girl. We had a lot of cows. There was a lot of working. I think consciously or unconsciously translates a lot into who I am today and the discipline and the work ethic. Like my grandparents, my grandma was tough as nails. My grandma, they would have us picking up potatoes in the middle of summer. No, we wouldn't watch TV, we'd just be outside, but just seeing them, seeing how my parents and my grandparents, they were tough. They just did what they had to do, and they were always very honest people. Like, and they always try to make us very honest, in the sense of doing the things right and just being patient for gratification later. So I think that in the world of athletics, that's what it is. So very grateful for that.
All right, we got to talk about the NC State game here. I got to talk to you about it while we're on here.
Let's
I know
do
you
it.
were on this team last year, but last season, this was the game when TCU beat NC State that kind of propelled them into that, national picture, right? This year, obviously, no one's overlooking you guys. What does a win like this on the road do for you heading forward?
Well, it was a great challenge. I wish It's what we play for, those big games. I wish we had a lot more of those. I wish we had a top 10 matchup every week. But we don't. So whenever that came, that was our opportunities. We were ready, especially on the road over there. They're a tough team, talented team, ex very experienced coach in a crazy atmosphere there. That was a lot of fun. So it was a great challenge to see where we at, and then get some film of like what we gotta do going forward. Obviously, the win is validation. That's what we play for. How to figure out how to win. Not every time it's a pretty game, but you just gotta figure out how to win. And also test like team chemistry and a lot of new players, and we love each other and we know we're right. And then that just game just kind of proved that a little bit more, the way that we stuck together, we celebrated together through the ups and the downs. It was so much fun. Oh my God.
And going into that game, what was like the game plan, like the message prior to that game?
Get into basketball. I mean, they have Zoe Brooks, which is one of the most talented guards in the country right now. So trying to limit her, she gets them going, but then she has players around her like Jones who can really shoot the ball. So figuring that out, and then obviously somebody like Camille Pierre who averages a double double in the ACC. That's no luck. She's tough, she's talented, she's strong. So taking care of the ball on the road, super important.
Mhm.
Staying paced through it all. But then doing us, the offense, we have enough tools, we have enough of a system for the basketball to go in. We just kind of let it flow and move the ball around. So we definitely started on defense and getting stops and containing their great players and their rebounding.
Obviously, it's very early in the season still. I don't know exactly what the AP poll has you at. I got you guys at number 7 right now.
I
What
love
do
that number.
yeah, there you go. What do you think is the ceiling of this group, and what do you need to do to reach a national title or national championship game?
Our ceiling is high. We just gotta keep doing what we're doing. I think we're doing a great job of coming in and getting better. I think we gotta stay disciplined and stay hungry through these weeks and keep going. I think I'm very excited about the Big 12. We have 5 or 6 teams ranked already. There's a lot of talent there, so that's gonna get us ready for anything coming down the road. So just continue to be us, continue to grow as a team and to build that chemistry. Obviously, I think we're a good spot. We're 10 new players though. Our ceiling is so high. Where we are, this is October, this is November. There's no heroes in November. We were playing for March. So just continue going and staying hungry, staying humble and staying hungry.
But you being such a veteran and being in college for a while, what is some of the message that you give to your younger players, or just maybe in tough times to kind of calm them down and just kind of bring that maturity?
Oh, you got time. That's what I would say. That's what I say to my freshmen. I'm like, you got time. I remember being a freshman, kind of being in a hurry. And again, I was saying like my career was so many like it felt like I was just fighting and fighting and fighting. So sometimes just learn to let go a little bit, let it come to you, just trust the process, keep doing. Just remember, sometimes you don't see, but you're always growing. There's not a moment where you're stuck. Whether you're playing or not, or you're scoring or not, you're seeing it, you're watching it, you're experiencing it, you're feeling it, and your mind is smart enough to take it in. So trust it, love it, find something like I did find in painting, something where you have an outlet, something to disconnect, and but still practice that lock in uh, focus. But other than that, you got time. You got time.
Well, I can speak for us both when I say we are both very, very excited to see this group throughout the year and how you grow. And like you said, it's a very new team, so this is just the start of it. So we're excited to watch you. Hopefully, I'll catch you in person soon, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, welcome back. Great time talking to Marta Suarez. What a game she had. I'm excited to see how she improves throughout the season. And as she pointed out, this is a team where you go to be developed, not only as a college player, but as a pro, right? And obviously
Mhm.
that's every player's goal. And I think TCU and Mark Campbell have kind of proven that that's a really good place to go in your, last couple years, maybe from the portal to get that development.
Yeah, I mean, Haley proved it. I mean, to see how she struggled at LSU and to transfer over her last year and how she just soared after that year and right where she left off at Louisville. I mean, that, like you said, that has TCU has been a hot spot for later transfers, for older transfers if they want to have professional goals.
I mean, what a selling point is that? You just go, look at her. Look at what we did with her. Look where she is now.
Just hold her.
Yeah, like not even and I was at, games where she talked about this and like she was going through a tough time. So not even just as a player, but she got her confidence back. She felt that connection with Mark Campbell, which is obviously a really big selling point when you're in the portal and you're speed dating and you don't have a ton of time to choose where you want to go. Like that's a big selling point. So interested to see if they can do it again this year with a brand new group, made their first ever Elite Eight last year. Do you think they can make it back? What do you think their ceiling is?
I think, like I previously said, without an injury bug, I think that they have the potential to make it back to the Elite Eight for sure. I mean, they're just so versatile. Just how you were talking, they can score at different levels, different varieties. The defensive presence they have with their length and their size, that looks like a top caliber team, in my opinion.
I think when you get to the Final Four is when that depth can really hurt you. So I'm interested to
Mm-hmm.
see if they can get, through that Elite Eight. But I wouldn't be shocked. And I think we've said this before. Like it wouldn't be like a, oh my God, TCU made the Final Four kind of moment for me. It would be like, wow, that's really impressive that they did this with the depth that they have. But the talent was there all along. So I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
shocked. So I think Final Four is my like tippy top ceiling maybe for them right now. But Elite Eight is what should kind of be expected of this
Yeah,
group, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, so really impressive. Let's move on to another team that we've talked about and has really impressed me, and that's UCLA. And we'll talk through them a little bit quickly here, but they had a heck of a week, probably the best week anyone's had so far.
For sure. I agree. I mean, I think the perfect word to describe them right now is dominance. They are dominating their competition. They're not leaving any room for thoughts. Like they are coming on there beating people. And they're beating people in a pretty great fashion. So I think UCLA is that UCLA UConn. I think those are neck to neck
Yeah.
right now.
No, it's the same thing. Like they're beating teams with no doubt in my mind that they're going to win
Mm-hmm.
by probably double digits. Like any game they're playing, it's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. And the other thing with them, and similarly with UConn, is anyone can have a night, right? Like I think UConn, you can expect Sarah Strong to have a night. UCLA, you can expect Lauren Betts to play well. But outside of those two, like anyone can have a great night. Anyone can come off the bench and contribute. Like they have that bench where you can trust anyone to come off and they can get hot and you don't always see it coming. And it's hard to prepare for that many talented players on a roster.
I mean, if I were to ask 100 women's basketball fans, who do you think is the leading scorer on UCLA right now?
Yeah.
I bet it'll be Lauren Betts and maybe Kiki or, but it's Jaquez. And I
Yep.
think she is not getting enough attention for what she is doing for this UCLA squad. I mean, she really started rising last year, later in the season. She really started coming to her own leadership role. But this year, she is picking up where she left off. I mean, she's leading in points and she's tied with rebounds with Lauren Betts.
Right.
I mean, what more can you want from your guard? I think she is really that glue and that X factor when it comes to this UCLA team.
See, and I had labeled her as that glue guy, but I think she's more than that. I do. I think she's more than that. And I think we need to give her credit as more than that. Like she is a spark plug. Like she can come in and get it done. Really impressed with her and how she's been able to improve this season.
Yeah.
But like I said, it really is anyone. Like let's in that North Carolina game, they shot 52% from the field, out rebounded North Carolina by 16, dominated in the paint. Like there's no facet of the game really where they're at a disadvantage, I don't think.
I'm trying to look at their weaknesses.
I don't know. I can't
I
really
don't know.
find a glaring weakness right now, right?
Maybe streaky 3-point shooting, but
Yeah.
they compensate for it by how they attack down low. So it's like, I really don't know.
I
I don't
know
know.
it's tough, and they've had a heck of a week. Wouldn't be surprised to see them claim number one at some point during the year. Maybe stay there. We'll see what happens, but great week for them. I want to talk about my favorite game that maybe I've ever watched just because of the story behind it and just like how special it felt to be like witnessing that in the moment. I had like prefacing this with the fact that I had been taking a nap before this game and I wake up from my nap and I'm like groggy and I'm watching and we get to this halftime and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what am I watching right now? And we don't know what's going to end up with happening with these players. To go back a little bit, there was an altercation. Two players were ejected for fighting, which is we expected. That's in the rules, whatever. Pretty much the
Mhm.
entire West Virginia bench got off their bench, came over to help their players, which you're not allowed to do. They
Mhm.
did that. Technically, though, it was halftime, so I'm a little bit confused on the rules. Whatever. Anyways, we come back from the break. The entire West Virginia bench is gone. They've all been ejected. So West Virginia has to play with five players for the entire second half. And not only that, but Genesis, they won the game. They won the game and they didn't just win it like, by 2 points, whatever. They won that game pretty handily, pretty easily.
I mean, I think it's a David and Goliath story. I mean, you have five players playing a ranked opponent. I mean, to come out, I mean, that second half,
Yeah.
West Virginia just wanted more. Like, you could tell
They
their
won.
intensity, the way they was getting to the free throw line, they were aggressive. They hit free throws. I mean, 20 for 26. So
Right.
they were efficient. I mean, they were known to be a scrappy team. You know, they love defensive pressure, getting in you, turning you over. But to do it with five players, that is a very hard task. As much energy you're exerting, doing five players, they show that it was definitely hard. So yeah,
Yeah.
hats off to them.
And not only just five players, but only one starter. One starter and four players off the bench. Like it was Celia Riviera's like breakout game for like a lot of people hadn't really seen what she could do yet. And this was her moment to shine. This was the whole I don't know how to pronounce Greenbrier. I don't know. The Greenbrier Five. That's what they're calling them. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm seeing it all over my Twitter. It's so much fun. And I was able to talk to Mark Kellogg after that game, and he said just like the passion, the grit they're playing with. And obviously, he's going to teach his team do not get off the bench in that situation ever again because you don't want to have to win that way. But he said like that game is going to serve as motivation when they're facing any adversity this season. That's something you can point to and say, hey, look what we did. We can do
Mhm.
this.
And every team needs that. Every good team needs that one game where whatever the problem is or whatever, like just find a way to overcome, find a way to win. Like good teams find a way to win. And West Virginia proved that.
What do you think about Duke so far?
And I think we talked about this our first episode too, but my concern was their scoring. Like we know they're a historically good defensive team. We know they pride themselves on their defense, but I don't know if they have that go-to person or like just that
I thought it was Emily Skinner. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, just that chemistry on offense. I'm just not seeing it. It seems really stagnant at times. I mean, they scored 49 points. I mean, it's hard to beat anyone scoring 49 points, especially in their conference ACC, but any Power Four team. So I would like to see them get more involved offensively, be a little more free, get more in transition, and maybe that could get them going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have them in my top 25 right now, but honestly, like, you think about it, I wouldn't be shocked to see them win one of their games in Vegas. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, these are obviously three really talented teams that you're playing,
Mhm.
but it's not like it would be a crazy upset in a way if Duke were to
Yeah.
win. Like, their expectations were really high in the season. We just haven't seen it yet, right? Like, we need
Mhm.
to see that come to fruition. And I think they're going to be motivated to do it. I saw them in Vegas last year and they were motivated then. So, maybe they're just everything's better in Vegas. Is that like they're saying what stays what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? I don't know.
And sometimes teams are better being the underdogs. Like
Yeah.
sometimes teams aren't better being the one on top and being the one gun for it, but the underdog, the low key person that kind of comes in. I think maybe they'll strive in that role and do something special in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. And another team that made their way outside of my top 25 this week is Notre Dame. And we talked about them last week and kind of our concerns with them and obviously how good Hannah Hidalgo is. But when your whole game plan is Hannah Hidalgo and someone exploits that, makes it tough to win a game or even compete. We saw that against Michigan, 39-point loss, neutral site, kind of a Michigan home game, but still a neutral site. It was not pretty basketball.
Not to pat us on the back again, but
Yeah.
we did talk about the concerns that we had with Notre Dame with, first of all, can Hannah Hidalgo keep up that play?
Mhm.
And also her surrounding cast, can they improve more? And I think we saw both sides of that in the Michigan game. I mean, Hannah didn't have a great night. I mean, 0 for 8 from 3-point line, 7 turnovers, just really struggled to
And
find a
that's credit
relationship
to
team.
Michigan. I will say that is credit to Michigan. That's
Yeah.
not like they did a very good job of
Yeah.
stopping her. She could have had a great night. They did a great job of stopping her.
Exactly. I mean, they at all times there was at least three people having their eyes on her. They were ready for her. So
You have
credit
to.
to Michigan. I mean, they're known for their great defensive pressure and how they just sit in the gap. They play contained basketball. So credit to them for sure. But we kind of saw this coming. Now, did it come a little bit earlier than I expected? Yeah, I didn't expect it to be like this, but that was definitely the concerns that we had.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I didn't expect them to win this game by any means.
Mhm.
This is a very talented Michigan team who I'm very high on, but I didn't expect them to lose by 39 points. And it's not even the score that concerns me about them. It was watching them play and seeing how they were responding to what Michigan was doing. And I wasn't confident in the way that Hannah Hidalgo was necessarily responding. I think you got to try to find your teammates a little bit more
Mhm.
in those moments where you know you're not going to get yours on that night, right? Like it's just
Mhm.
not your night. You have to look elsewhere. And I felt like they didn't do that as much. And I think Kassan Prosper is someone that they need to look to more. She's had a good start to the season. It's just there's not the depth. It's the depth that's the problem. And it's not even like they have like six that you can really always depend on. Like it's just tough. This is a tough year for them. Next year's going to be a lot better. They got great freshmen coming in, and this year's not over yet. And I'm not saying the season is over by any means, but I haven't seen anything that has made me feel like this is anything past like a round of 32 team right now.
Oh, I know that'll hurt for Notre Dame fans right now. I think the beautiful thing is it is November. So
Yeah,
they
it's
do
still
have some
yeah.
opportunity to try to get in rhythm and learn from their mistakes. I mean, you rather have this kind of loss in November than in
Right.
January, February. So I think they really just gotta look in the mirror and maybe change some things up or go into different people more. I mean, KK had a great game as well. So just trying to find different pieces to kind of take off that pressure off of Hannah. And then I mean, people are gonna always key on her, no matter what. But when you're supporting Cass and kind of score double digits consistently, it kind of brings more of that balance to the team.
Right. No, absolutely. And like honestly, I don't think they're gonna have a bad time in ACC play. I think the ACC is weird this year. And so I'm not like totally sold on the bottom. Like I think you can beat the bottom half of that ACC pretty much
Mm-hmm.
you look at and not to whatever dig on them, but we had a big upset this weekend with Scranton, a D3 team beating Pittsburgh. So I think, there are some teams that Notre Dame will dominate and
Mm-hmm.
fans can look forward to that. But when it comes to the tournament and the national picture, I'm not sold yet. I'm just not
Yeah.
there. So we'll see. Plenty more basketball to be played. We'll see how they come back from that. They have some tough games coming up. I'm pretty sure they face USC like very soon, correct? Like
Yep.
within the next week. So
Yeah,
that'll
please.
be an interesting one, kind of between the two teams that I was least sure about. So that'll be fun. Um, Next up, another team that maybe I'm questioning a little bit offensively. Tennessee. What do you think about them so far?
I think historically Tennessee has relied on defense and turnovers to kind of produce the instant offense. I think they have struggled in the half court.
Yeah.
I think that's where more of my concerns come from. We have good, solid teams that will game plan for your transition and they'll send two to three back, and you have to squat your half court action. That's where I see a lot of their struggling come from. And I mean, I get it. They live and die by the 3-point line. But I think at some point, you have to tailor that to the game as well. Like you don't want to shoot yourself out of the game. So just finding more ways to score. I mean, Cooper has been a great player on this team, leading in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, a do-it-all player. But I like to see more people getting involved and kind of helping with that offensive production.
Yeah, this is a team I'm still, fairly high on, and I still think the potential is a lot greater than what we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen right now is them not defend the 3-point line as well as I think they'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen right now is them not feel super cohesive on offense, and that's attributed to something that a lot of teams are, is just a lot of new players and a lot of freshmen, and that can be tough for freshmen to come in, especially in Kim Caldwell's system that is so different from anywhere that I'm sure they have ever played in their lives. So learning a completely new system is tough, and playing with entirely, a new team is tough. And I think they'll get better. I think, in that game against Belmont, it was close. I thought Belmont had that game. I really, really did. Until the end, and they came back and It just wasn't Tennessee's greatest performance, and that's honestly credit to Belmont as well because they are really tough. We've talked about it, a tough mid-major to face as a Power Five. But I think, internally Tennessee has some work to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with them. Those are our big kind of storylines of the week. There's a lot to look forward to, though. We got, this is when are we filming? What day of week are we at right now? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm losing track, guys. We're headed towards Feast Week, so that's what I'm looking forward to is Feast Week. Getting to Vegas, hopefully getting a turkey that I can eat and watching some good basketball.
Man, I mean, we know them Thanksgiving tournaments, neutral sites, anyone's game, no home court advantage. So I'll be looking forward to seeing who comes out on top, and not just in Vegas, but all the different Thanksgiving tournaments.
Yeah, I'll give you one before we go. One game to watch before Feast Week. Technically a Feast Week game, but it's not on Feast Week. Iowa Baylor is like in 2 days. It's Thursday. That's the one off the top of my head that I'm like very excited because Iowa's a team that has not been tested yet. Baylor's a team that has, but maybe, that Duke win's looking a little less impressive, maybe. So that's one I've got circled. We'll be back soon and we'll have like plenty to recap. There's so much going on right now. So we